book. It was challenging, the first one.
Because he wanted to be in the place of love.
Somebody came up with the idea.
And he was 100% accurate in his prediction.
Selenium, iodine, or calcium, you don't have to know any of that stuff. All you have to be able to do is chew.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight. This is usually the climax of the expo for me. And, you know, we've also had some very serious discussions about sexuality, sensuality. We have a really great panel. Actually, this is one of the more really exciting panels. And then we have Laurie Handlers, who's also a Tantra teacher from Butterfly Tantra Yoga. And a stepsister of mine, I think, aren't you? And
well, I look at Tantra as transformation through pleasure.
oh,
So that's how I define it. I learned that Tantra meant expansion through awareness. And it is possible that through greater awareness, we expand. What I mean by expand is be able to embrace it all. So that's the stuff we want to embrace in our lives and the stuff that we'd like to push away, like things that are bad in the world. I have all the potential for both in my body, for wonderful, joyous pleasure experiences, and I also have the potential for terrorism in my own life. And if you've been in a relationship with me for a long time, you could know that I might terrorize you. Not on purpose, but I would. So how I see it is that when I say to people, okay, you have permission for pleasure, look and see in your body, how much permission do you have for pleasure? What automatically comes up is all the places where there's no permission. And we need to work through that. And here's the thing, when I say work, I hate when people say, I'm working on that. That's like, yeah, I'll get to that someday. It's not working on it. Like, that's something I'm working on, and that's like a stalling process. So if you're someone who says that, I'm accusing you. It's really working through by paradigm shifting, by immersing myself and by immersing yourselves in processes, workshops, communities, individually, one-on-one sessions or community whatever it is, in processes that push us out of the comfort zone, that show us all the places where we don't have permission for pleasure. Like, I just won't let myself feel that, and then feel it. And then go, oh, I lived. Oh, whew, what a relief. And then the other part is, in Tantra also, for me, is, whoops, there goes my bindi. Okay. For me is, is it on my nose?
she's missing her bindi.
I got transformed. The other part is to look to see if I can, what Nicole said, if I can slow down enough to expand my container, my body, to have more and more and more and more pleasure to receive. And the same thing, and my body's a female body, but the same thing for men in Tantra. To expand the male body more. Men are usually used to like doing, and releasing. And in Tantra, it's more like, can you lie back and receive? Be in the feminine aspect and receive. And that's receive more and more pleasure by going slower and slower, longer and longer, like that. So.
No, that's great. That's a really good intro to this whole.
Okay, good.
No,
so
thanks.
I'm going to pass now.
Yeah, to Carla.
Wait, I want to say one other thing.
Please.
That Dell
Yes.
represents Eve's Garden. Eve's Garden is the sponsor of my radio show.
Oh, well, there you go.
Tantra Cafe. So I had to give you a little plug. Okay.
Right, we'll give her another plug. Yeah. But what I'm getting so far is this idea of staying present and connected is the intimate experience. If you're really present, then everything else will be shown to you, in a sense. If that's another person, then it is. So in sexual tantra, then, how do you actually increase that and take it to the next level?
Well, it's interesting that my book is Sex and Happiness, the Tantric Laws of Intimacy. So I have 10 laws of intimacy in that book, and I also have a workshop called The Mastery of Self-Love. So I'll just start with that for a minute and say that on the way, it's a 1-week workshop. I do it in some exotic places, and people, all kinds of things happen to people on their way to the mastery of self-love, like their pilots don't show up, they get pneumonia, they have like physical breakdowns, nervous breakdowns. Like people are so afraid to be in the mastery of self-love. Just what Melissa said. So it's just, I mean, literally all kinds of things have happened with people on the way to that. And, you know, of course they come and they do fall in love with themselves. The things that I've identified really about intimacy come from my own life, like from teaching Tantra for however many years, since 1999. From teaching Tantra, I actually learned about intimacy with myself from teaching it to others. And I say in my book, I mean, I'm not foolish, I just admit the truth, which is that I'm only one step ahead of anybody who comes to me. You know what I mean? I took that step and then they show up. And they go, what's the step? I go, I just took it, here it is. So some of the principles, some of the laws of intimacy that I've been able to ascertain, one is to please myself. So it's back to what Dell's talking about, like to give myself permission to please myself and actually not hang my pleasure on someone else. Like point at them, like, yeah, you didn't make me come right, you didn't do me right, you didn't this. If you would only do this, then I'd be happy. Like, what is that? I'm happy because I choose to be happy. And it's taken a while. But I really, literally, each day wake up and pinch myself and go, wow, I'm like a happy girl, you know? Yeah. So part of it is just knowing that I need to please myself. Another one of my laws is to honor my anger. Like my, you know, people in religions anyway have put anger down. I even heard the Dalai Lama put anger down once, and I was like, phew. You know, we have a fight or flight mechanism in ourselves, and anger informs us when there's danger. Now, our reptilian brain thinks we're in danger all the time. You know, like there's a part of our brain that thinks, oh my God, I'm being attacked right now, I'm going to die, so I need to attack you. But in fact, I'm not being attacked all the time, and there is a reason for anger, and there's a reason to express it honestly to people. If I stuff it, I'm so inauthentic, I can't possibly be with you, I can't be with myself, and there is no possibility for intimacy at all, and that's one of those disowned parts of self. Another one, I won't do them all, but another one that's really important is boundaries. Yeah. Now, I don't know about your parents, but my parents never used the word. Did your parents use the word boundary when you were growing up? They don't know what it is. I ran into walls of brick before I would know what my boundary was. I go, okay, uncle, no, no more. So for me, there's a fine balance. Like Osho, a great famous Tantra master, talks about being able to say yes to everything. What I found in myself is, first, I needed to learn to say no. When I could say no, honestly, then you could believe me when I said yes. Absolutely. If I just said yes to everything, then I'd be lying some of the time. And so now I find that I can remove boundaries. Once they work, and I could say no, oh, you know, they say, you know, when a woman says no, she really means yes. You know, guys say that.
Is that true?
Wait a second. In a kind of a way, in a very deep and beloved kind of a way, it's true.
You see?
I'm exercising my right to say no, and then when I'm comfortable that you actually heard me and there was respect, I can actually go, you know, yes. And I say it with surrender, which is another one of the laws. Like I surrender into the love and the intimacy that's really there.
But sometimes women mean no when they say no.
Yes, sometimes they do. And we're talking about intimate situations. We're not talking about, you know.
Okay, I got it.
I'm not talking about if someone's like trying to hustle me. You know, I'm really talking about like in an intimate.
So when you're with a partner and there's that intimacy, it's the resistance would be the no.
Exactly.
Okay,
I might have to resist to see where I'm at with this person, or to see where I'm at with myself. Right. And then I can take a boundary away. It's not a solid wall like a barrier.
May I say something to this too?
Yeah.
That's a very important point. Yeah.
All right, just want to say one quick thing about what boundary is, what I mean.
Yes.
Boundary is like a cellular membrane. It lets in nutrients and it keeps out toxins. But it's permeable.
Permeable.
And it's my choice.
I get that.
Okay? Okay.
And that's also explains intimacy too, because you don't want to be just an open. You want to know who you are, so you can
Exactly.
also meet the other.
Exactly.
I get it. Here, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that another one of my laws of intimacy is make love in the unknown, which is to let go of all notions of how you have to be done, how it has to be done to you, how you have to be stimulated by external things like porno, how your idea of any addiction to how your normal groove. But first, before people can make love in the unknown, I assign homework in my classes, 21 days of self-pleasure. The men have to do it to 21 days of self-pleasure for 3 peaks and not go over the peak, like not come for the 21 days, like actually breathe the energy up and learn to like breathe up sexual energy so it circulates in their body. Women have to do it too, but at the end of each 3 peaks of that day, they can actually orgasm. I want them both to get used to expanding to receive, but for men, I want them to really not push the energy out, to actually let it come up and see what would happen if their body rides with it. But after they get it in their bodies, I want them to let it go, like forget about it, because I don't want people when they're together to go, let's see. She said, should I breathe?
Right, that's the thing. That you can, if you do, yeah.
Right. So the masturbation part is people training it on themselves, like getting it in their own body, so that when they're actually then in a self-love situation or in a love with another situation, a sex situation with somebody, that they're not in their heads, thinking that it's already in their body, and their body will respond in a natural way, the way the body will respond. And lots of tantric breaths and eye gazing and the things we've been talking about will happen when people put it like purposefully, like learning a new skill in their own body. And then I say to them, forget, like let it go. So I think masturbation is really important for all the reasons said, and to train ourselves for some very specific things.
Right. Thank you. That's good. Let's also, everyone, after Laurie, talk about like the non-location, the overall feeling of sexuality as opposed to the local sexual feeling. Yeah.
Well, actually, that's right where I was going to go. So, well, in Tantra, there are practices. There are breathing practices and squeezing practices. Kegel exercises are combined with different breaths. So there's some that you do breathing out. There's some that you do breathing in. And I can't teach you the whole thing right now, but what I can say to you is it's actually the part of the practices is to take the sexual energy from the genitals and spread it out throughout the whole body. Once one can do that, and it's not difficult, it's not rocket science. They did this before we had rockets. So they've been doing this for like thousands of years, 7,000 years. Tantra's older than religions. So there's a way to pull the energy up out of the genitals and spread it throughout the whole body, fuel the whole body, bring it up the chakras. And it's also possible, once a person knows how to do that, it's possible to like put it over there. Like I can shoot the energy to you, you can shoot the energy back to me, we can connect and communicate in an orgasmic way, never speaking, never touching, just, it's all sexual energy. What do I want to do with it? And if I take it out of my genitals and spread it and circulate it and move it, I don't even know. There's so many things that can happen, and part of that is the unknown. There's no limit to it. Does that get it for you? Then you wanted to know about implosion. I couldn't, there was some. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and some other people will speak to it.
Please, Laurie.
I would just recommend a couple things. I mean, if you did orgasmic meditation, the kind that One Taste teaches, Nicole, there would be a new opening in terms of sensation, and you might, and it's not you, but I don't know, who you're exactly talking about, so I'm assuming it's you. Okay.
It's a good friend of his.
My best friend. It's not me, but my friend told me. Anyway, so for all the friends in the audience,
It's okay. It's
Whether
okay. We've all been there.
I would highly recommend a number of different things. One is to explore sensuality and sensation through doing orgasmic meditation by taking the courses at One Taste and learning just a whole different way of being with sensation and another, and the role of the other there, and what has or hasn't to be done. I mean, it just takes people to a different place. And also in Tantra, I would also recommend learning Tantra, because Tantra gives a lot of breath and a lot of different squeezing, like Carla's talking about, squeezing the PC muscles and the anal sphincter muscles, and doing different things that change the whole palette of one's what's the word it gives people more capacity to experience different things. So if anybody's kind of stuck there, like, oh my God, I have to masturbate, or I'm like, maybe you don't, but but the person wouldn't know what to do to be different. And I know that I'm just talking about two things. There's Tantra, there's One Taste, there's other things, especially in this city. There's a lot of things people can explore to explore sensation, and it might change everything. So I would highly
That's
recommend,
good.
where right here, where are your resources?
It is. This is our sexual community people, and they are all great resources. With
Laurie, do you want to take over?
Taking over. My body's taking over.
and any puddles on the floor.
Okay. Okay, it's similar, a little different. I'd like you to just begin squeezing your anal sphincters and your PC muscles. So when you're squeezing, should we stand up? It's actually easier to feel sitting. It's great when we stand. I don't know. We'll sit for the beginning.
Sitting position.
Sit down. Okay. So we'll just squeeze your muscles. So when you're squeezing them, you actually start going up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Now you can do it quietly and not go up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, you're squeezing. Keep squeezing. Squeeze, squeeze. Now you're going to start to make the ooh sound. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now ah, 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 ah. Now alternate. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Faster. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Let yourself go. Ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Now stop. Transmute. Inhale through the nose. Squeeze every muscle as tight as you can in your body, your face, your fist, your shoulders. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Take a sniff. Hold it. Now let the energy all the way back down through the mouth. Ah. One more big inhale through the nose. Squeeze everything. And hold it tight as you can. And then sniff. Hold it. You're pulling that energy up out of the genitals. Hold it. And now let it back down again. Release, surrender. Ah. And notice how you feel. It takes less than 5 minutes to make yourself happy. It's your choice. You're going to breathe anyway.
Thank you, Laurie. That's a group orgasm.
I just want to.
Tantra,
Butterfly workshops.
butterfly workshops.
Yeah, I just call it Butterfly Tantra to distinguish myself from others. But it's butterflyworkshops.com. I teach 3 levels of Tantra. My introduction course is 1 day, bliss. My advanced course is ecstasy. It's 3 days. You sleep over in the country. My 1 week course is called Initiation, the Mastery of Self-Love. And I also have a book, Sex and Happiness, The Tantric Laws of Intimacy. I have flyers up here. I take people to India on tantric tours. Oh, Alan is on my book also.
I gave her a little quote.
Alan wrote on my book.
I said, sex and happiness puts the innocence and love back into sex and gives Tantra the respect it deserves in the West. So.
Also, I have a radio show which is now 4 times a week. It's called Tantra Cafe, and it's on bbsradio.com, which is Alan's also on that station. And some of the panel members have been on my show already. Some of the panel members will be on my show. I've pretty much interviewed the greats in Tantra, and or related fields. We have just amazing shows. So you could go to my website tantracafe.com to get any of the shows that are in the can. They're all amazing, and you can learn a lot, just about anything about Tantra from them. Okay.
And Laurie also has a table in the library room if you want to talk to her. Thanks, Laurie.
That rocked.